Hi guys, my name is Chris Simmons and this is The Average Climber, where we bring you product reviews, tricks, tips, and everything else you might need for climbing. In this review, I'm going to go over something that it's not necessarily that I developed it. I didn't really ever see it online before, and I kind of thought it would be a good idea. And then since then, I've seen some other things on there, so I didn't obviously invent it, but something I kind of came up with to help me with pinch strength and helping your grip. These are called pinch blocks, and these are made really quick and simple with 2x6. For these pinch blocks, I've came up with 3 different sizes. Because a 2x6 is not an actual 2 inches by 6 inches, it is a 1.5 inch block right here to pinch, a 3-inch block, and a 4.5 inch block. I'm gonna go over step by step on how to build these, and then also exercises on how to use each of these. When you go to your local hardware store, you're gonna wanna make sure you get a 2x6, probably about, depending on how many blocks you want to get, you're gonna get 10 to 12 feet. You're also gonna want to get some eye bolts. When you get these, you're gonna want to check the weight on them and what weight they can hold. Anything over 100 pounds is gonna be good for this. You're also gonna want to get some eye bolts with a nut and a pretty thick washer on this. This is what's gonna end up holding your weight as you pinch and pull up. Wood screws, depending upon how many of these you're gonna get, you're gonna wanna make sure that the screw's gonna be able to go through and not pierce the other side of the block. Safety goggles for if you are cutting these. Also, if you don't have a saw at home, Home Depot, Lowe's, True Value, all of those usually cut wood for you. You just need to make sure you're nice to the guys behind the saw. Screw guns. You're gonna make sure you want to get a bit that is not as big as the eye screw, so that there's still gonna be some wood in there for this to grab. Also, a drill to drill in the wood screws. I have an impact drill, so it's gotta be able to take it in a little bit deeper. Pencil, tape measure, wood glue for a little bit extra reinforcement with the screws, and also weight plates. You can get those at any of your local athletic stores, Big Five, Sports Authority, anything like that. So now that you have your pinch blocks done, depending on your strengths and weaknesses, these are going to get substantially harder or easier depending on where you fall at in the strength category. So keep that in mind as you're working out. To connect these blocks to the weight, you're going to hook the carabiner to the block and then take your bolt and thread it to the weight. The reason why the bolt is so long is so you can end up increasing the weight over time later on with small increments. Put on the washer and then make sure the nut is completely threaded onto the bolt. And this is how you're going to hang onto the weight. Then you have a pinch block to put on as much or as little weight as you want and to work out with. Jim here is going to demonstrate the first exercise we're going to go over. This is called the single arm row. Normally when you're doing this exercise with a dumbbell, you're not engaging your forearm or your bicep. However, with the pinch blocks, you are going to engage your forearm and your grip strength the entire time throughout this. Keep in mind keeping your back straight and flat. Also, when you bring the pinch block all the way up to your chest, you're squeezing in between your shoulder blades. So think of having someone push in the middle of your shoulder and squeeze in the back there. That's what's going to really activate your lats, your back, and as well as your forearms while you're gripping on this. So the next exercise we're going to go over is a deadlift variation. With all deadlifts, you are keeping all your weight in your heels and extending up and really extending out when you come all the way up. This is working your glutes, your hamstrings, and your lower core and your lower back. Also, with the pinch blocks, you are working your forearms. So look online for dumbbell deadlifts, and that will give you some proper form and technique as to how some of these will be worked on. So the next exercise is just a max hang, like you're doing on a campus rung or a hangboard. This is just going to be maximally hanging or holding onto these pinches as long as you possibly can. You can work this into any kind of workout routine you're going on, and this is just going to activate and burn out your forearms. Just hang on to them as long as you can. Add more weight onto it, or take off weight if you need to, but the more weight you're gonna put on there, the more gains you're gonna get onto your forearms. You can see Andrew is just pumped out his mind right now. So that's a wrap for the pinch build and training video. Keep in mind this is just a few exercises that we came up with. There's probably tons of different variations and different exercises that you can do to incorporate these into your workout. Keep following us on social media and keep liking, sharing, and subscribing to these videos. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback on what we're doing and what you guys would like to see next in the upcoming videos. Until I see you guys again, keep training, keep climbing.